Hello students, welcome to auditing revision lecture. Just give me a minute, I'll start in a minute's time. Hello students, welcome to auditing. Let us start with the lecture. I'll go chapter wise. Okay, before that I'll explain the paper format. The paper format is like question number 1 will be objective questions in which you will find MCQs and true and false for 10 marks each. Then question 2 to 4 means 2, 3, 4 will have internal choice, that is question 2 or question 2. In both these questions, that is internal choice, you'll get sub questions of 10 marks each. Okay. In last question, question number 5, again you will have internal choice. One question will be long questions, and in option you will get short notes option. You can write 4 short notes out of 6. So that's the paper pattern. So let us start with the chapter number 1, the introduction to auditing. This is important chapter. The very first question is who are the users of financial statements? Your financial statement includes your P&L account, balance sheet, cash flow, notes to accounts, and some reference to accounting standards. Okay. Now, who are the users of these financial statements? Well, the executives of the company are the users of these financial statements. They are the basic users. Apart from these, bankers and creditors, they use your financial statements to know your credit worthiness, so that they will decide the limit to which they can extend credit to you. Okay, shareholders and prospective investors are interested in knowing how much returns you can generate. Laborers, workers are always interested in your financial statements because they want to know whether there is any scope for increasing their wages and salaries. Okay. We as a consumer or part of society are also interested in companies' financial statements. Okay. Definition of auditing, you can learn any 1 or 2 definitions. When you start answer with one of the definition, it will have a good impression. Okay. Features of auditing, the auditing process. I'll first go through one definition. You go for Montgomery definition. Audit is a systematic examination of books and records of the business or other organizations in order to ascertain or verify and report upon the facts regarding the financial operations and result thereof. So in a nutshell, we can say auditing is a systematic examination of your books of accounts and related documents to decide the authenticity of financial statements which are drawn from those books of accounts. Okay. So when we talk about features of auditing, it includes systematic. That is, auditing is a systematic process. It is not haphazard. It has to be well planned. Okay. Second, the auditing process should be independent. Okay. You can't appoint a related person, whether he's a shareholder or a director or an employee as an auditor. The auditor has to be independent person. Okay. Auditing process includes auditing of data statements, records, operations, performance, etc. The basic purpose of auditing is to determine the authenticity. Okay. And the main objective is to report to shareholders. The auditor will report to shareholders about truthfulness, true and fairness of the financial statements. clear idea about the proposition, why audit is being conducted, the auditor should be very clear. He should collect evidence to support his report. At the end of the audit, the auditor is expected to give report, okay, to the shareholders. And for supporting his opinion, he should collect various evidences while conducting audit. Okay, as I told you, report is nothing but formulation of a judgment. Okay, the judgment is always overall. Okay, it can be specific for a few things. Now, difference between bookkeeping, accountancy, and auditing. In tabular format, it is given. You better learn this. Couple of distinguishes. Accounting and auditing is the main distinguish, which we should go through thoroughly. Okay. Apart from that, we have auditing and investigation. Next question is objects of auditing. Now, the primary objective of auditing is to determine the authenticity. Okay, the main objective of conducting audit is to report to shareholders about the true and fair view of the financial statements. Okay, when the auditing process starts, the auditor is unbiased. He goes through the final whatever books are kept by the organization. He takes in detail all the vouchers, etc., registers, etc. Then he forms the opinion whether P&L account show the true and fair view regarding the profit shown or loss incurred by the company, and regarding balance sheet, whether the state of affair which is shown by the balance sheet is true and fair. Okay, so primary objective of any audit is to report to shareholders whether the financial statements are reflecting true and fair view. Okay, in secondary objectives, we may include detection and prevention of errors and frauds. Okay, in a while we'll be discussing all the types of errors and types of fraud. Okay. Now, this is important. Types of errors. Errors can be classified as clerical errors and error of principles. Okay. To begin with, error of principles, when a company or any organization is not following the basic rules of accounting or not following the basic format provided by the Act to display their financial statements or not following accounting standards, okay, then it is said that there is existence of error of principle. Okay, a few examples are overvaluation and undervaluation of stock. Okay, the stock should be valued at cost always. Okay, if there is overvaluation or undervaluation by using a wrong method or something, okay, it will be called as error of principle. Inadequate provision for depreciation or omission to make a provision for depreciation, this is also a kind of error of principle. Okay. Now, clerical errors. This includes number one, error of duplication. It means one entry is recorded twice. Okay. Error of omission. It means the entry is not at all recorded in the books of accounts. It is being omitted to be recorded. Okay. Error of commission. It means the wrong amount is recorded. Like 360 is being recorded as 630. Okay. So there is an error in writing the amount. Compensating errors. It means the clerk has made two errors which offset the effect of each other. Like by mistake, accountant gave 5,000 more debit to X party, and same amount 5,000 gave credit more to Y party. So your debit as well as credit increased by 5,000. So after all, when you brought trial balance, it is tallying because two errors are there which offset effect of each other. Let us go through the types of frauds. Types of fraud in the form of manipulation of or falsification of records. So manipulation and falsification of record is normally done at the top level. Lower level employees are not involved. Okay. In case of misappropriation, Misappropriation can be in the form of misappropriation of cash or misappropriation of goods. Okay. And one more type of fraud is there, which is stealing and lading. Okay. Now, first we'll see what is manipulation and falsification of records. Okay. At the top level, the management can omit a few transactions, can create dummy transactions, okay, and or can follow wrong policies like window dressing or creating secret reserves. These are called manipulation or falsification of records. When you say misappropriation of cash, it means it may be possible that at clerical level or at accountants level, cash received is not being shown in the books of accounts. While recording the payments, dummy payments are being made and the cash is pocketed. Showing wrong cash balance is also a misappropriation and pocketing some money. Same thing may happen with the goods as well. Okay. Now, teaming and lading is a unique way of cheating, or we can say, or a fraud, in which suppose we'll take one small example. Suppose there are 3 debtors from whom cash is receivable, amount is receivable, Mr. X, Mr. Y, and Mr. Z. So when cash is received from Mr. X, it is not recorded in the books. The accountant may use it for his personal purpose. When Mr. Y pays money, okay, it is shown as a received from Mr. X, and the accountant keeps using money received from Y. Okay, when money is received from Mr. Z, it is shown as received from Mr. Y. Okay, on the last day, the accountant may record the cash received from Mr. Z in his account, so that on the last day, all the records are nullified. Okay, so this is a way of using funds belonging to organization for personal purpose. Okay, and to overcome this, the auditor can go for confirmation from the debtors about their balances. Window dressing. This is very important. Window dressing. Window dressing is nothing but showing a better picture than what actually is. Okay. Window dressing is done for various purposes. Like sometimes the firm, the organization, is in need of funds, so it can show better picture by overvaluing its assets and undervaluing liabilities, and as a effect, capital is being raised. Okay, so this is done to get good amount of loans. If company is going for issue of shares, it can do window dressing. Okay, sometimes the manager's remuneration is decided as a percentage of net profit. So in that case, window dressing is done by the management. Okay, so there are some arguments against window dressing. Why? Because it doesn't show true and fair view. Ultimately, shareholders are the losers, because they may feel that company is doing well, but in fact, what they are looking at is a wrong picture. Okay, the prosperity which is shown is only on the paper, not in reality. And by using this technique, the directors may withdraw profits which may not be to that extent high. Okay, and this is not allowed. Let me tell you, window dressing or creating secret reserve is not allowed as per any act. Okay, it is illegal. This is not important. Okay, another term I told you is secret reserve. Secret reserve is writing down the profits. It means not showing the actual profits which companies creating or earning. Okay, so the main reason for creating secret reserves is to avoid competition in the market. Okay, not to show off the profit which is company making, so that unnecessarily you may invite a competition. So to avoid that, normally companies go for this technique, that is creating secret reserve, not disclosing actual profit. Okay. Again, same objections are raised. No to fair and view of the financial statements. Shareholders are at loss. Okay. We should go through this duty of auditor regarding secret reserve, what is expected. Okay. same points will be there for the question auditor duty regarding frauds. Okay. This is not important. Okay, this is important. Auditor's duties regarding fraud. Okay. What as an auditor he is expected to do? He should examine all the aspect of finances. He should do vouching properly. He should check all the carbon copies, cash memos. Okay. So if at all any fraud is there, he can detect it earliest. Okay. He should thoroughly check salary and wages ratio. Okay. This is important. Do it. Duties regarding fraud. This is not important. Okay, this is important. Advantages of audit. Okay, audit when books are audited, it has many advantages to many parties. Okay, as a businessman, he may reap some advantages like he is able to detect, or rather, he comes to know about different errors and fraud which may be there in company. It will be easier for him to get loans from banks. Okay, audited financial statements will be build good reputation for him. Okay, he knows what is the proper valuation of his assets. Okay, government always accepts the audited financial statements. Okay, he is able to update his accounts. Okay, the auditor, since he is an expert professional, will give some suggestions for improvement. Okay, so these are advantages for businessmen. As an investor, it is very important that the investor gets audited financial statement because it protects his money or interest. There is a moral check on the directors. Okay, proper valuation of investment is possible. Then, as a society, there are other advantages. Okay, we always auditing always evaluates financial status of a company. Listing of shares becomes easy. If any settlement of claim is to be made, then financial statements which are audited are accepted by all the parties. Audited financial statements acts as the evidence in the court. And likewise, this is an important question. Advantages of audit. Limitations, you can just go through the limitations and just read through. Audit work involves exercise of judgment. Okay, so you cannot be 100% sure. Even if books are audited, you can't say that it is error proof or fraud. Okay, the evidence which are collected in auditing process may not be 100% conclusive. Okay, audit cannot be relied on discovery of all frauds. I just told you. Auditor cannot decide objectively what is material, that is what is important. Okay, so he may miss out on some important issues. Okay. Another limitation is that auditor is not a technical expert. He is expert in accounts only, but he may not do valuation properly. Although Act provides him with the services of an expert, he can hire an expert. Okay. Principle of auditing. This is important. Auditing principles. Okay. I'll just go through this. Principle of integrity and independence. The auditor is expected to be honest and should be independent, that he should not have any bias towards anyone. Principle of objectivity, very similar to that. The auditor should not be biased and he should be very clear about what he has to achieve from auditing process. Principle of full disclosure, auditor should make sure that the books of accounts by the company are able to make full disclosure of all the transactions. Principle of materiality. Materiality means importance. Okay, the auditor should make sure that all the material facts are disclosed in the financial statements. Principle of confidentiality says that the auditor, in the process of auditing, gathers so much of information, many secrets he comes to. So he has to keep it confident. He cannot disclose it to any third party unless the owner gives him rights. Okay, so that is possible only in case of appearing before the government authorities. Okay. Skill and competence. Auditor is expected to use all his skills and competence while taking training under PAs. Okay. Work done by others. Auditor can definitely use work done by others, but he will be sole responsibility of any error fraud arising out of that reliance. Okay. So auditor himself will be liable if the work done by others is not reliable. Okay. Working papers. Working paper means the paper generated or created during process of auditing. Now that is property of the auditor. Okay. Planning audit process to be properly planned so that nothing important is skipped during audit. Okay. A good plan will bring in efficiency in audit process. Audit evidences. Auditor is expected to collect all the possible evidences to support his report. Whatever report he gives, he should have proper evidence in support of that. Okay. Evaluation of accounting system and internal control. It is the primary duty of auditor. Not you can say primary, but which is the most urgent, most important thing. He evaluates the internal control system which is existing in the company before he starts his work. Okay, before he makes his plan, he should evaluate the accounting system which is prevalent in the organization. At the end, the auditor should give his report, called as audit report. Okay. This is not that important. In types of audit, I have uploaded two videos in the afternoon, okay, which covers first three types. That is an audit based on authority, based on scope, and based on time. Okay. Now those two videos are very important. So I request you to go through those videos. Okay. Uh, so this chapter is covered in those videos. I think one video is of around 23 minutes and one is of 27 minutes. Okay, they cover first three types, which are most important. Okay, so please go through those videos. For chapter number 2, they cover almost 20 to 25 minutes. That those two videos. Okay, next chapter, third chapter, audit planning and procedures. Give me a minute. Chapter 3. Okay. In this chapter, just go through the important parts. First, meaning of planning. Audit planning refers to the planning by the auditor to enable them to conduct an effective audit in an efficient and timely manner, and includes planning about area, scope, depth of transaction to be audited, time to be devoted, persons to be deployed for audit, etc. Audit program is very important. Okay, I'll read. Audit program is a detailed plan of applying the audit procedures in the given circumstances with instructions for the appropriate technique to be adopted for accomplishing the audit objective. Okay, so audit program is nothing but audit plan being executed. So when we give time time structure in an audit plan, it becomes audit program. Okay, so audit program is nothing but execution of audit plan in a framework of a time limit. Okay. Development of an audit program. Following factors are very important. Which should be considered by auditor before preparing an audit program. Okay. As we saw, internal control system is very important for any organization. The auditor should go through the internal control system which is there in the company. Okay. Second, client's activity. The auditor should make such an audit program which will suit the client's business. Okay. Cost benefit, while developing audit program, the auditor should consider the cost of performing the procedures and benefit like to be accrued from that procedure. Scope of limitations of the assignments. The audit program should cover only those areas for audit which falls within the scope of his assignment. In case of statutory auditor, the scope is a complete audit. Clear? So this point will be valid only in case of non-statutory audit. Okay, but still you have to write as an answer. Evidence reasonably available. The auditor should not try too hard to get the evidences which are not readily available. He should rely on the evidences which he can collect during his routine course of audit. Okay. Verification. Verification is done in case of assets and liabilities. That is verifying whether the asset really exists, whether it is in possession of the owner, and it is in the ownership of the owners. Okay, these three important things are to be verified. Possibility of error. The auditor should see that what is the chances of finding an error. Okay, so accordingly, audit program should be drafted, keeping in mind the possibility of error. Okay. Coordination. The audit program should be done in such a manner that it brings coordination between the audit staff and the client's staff. Okay. Assistance. The audit program should provide for the detailed allocation of labor or other audit staff to the organizer, to the audit process. This is important. Audit working papers, it's important. I'll read. Audit working papers are written records kept by the auditor as regards evidence accumulated during the course of audit. The methods, the procedures followed by the auditor, and the conclusions drawn from it. Okay, so all the papers which are collected, all the calculations which are done are from part of working papers. Okay, some examples are given for audit working papers. Trial balance prepared by the client, various schedules, okay, maybe a fixed asset data status, correspondence, details regarding valuation of stock, etc., BRS, adjustment entries. These all form part of working papers. Okay. This is not important. This is important. Uh, Filing of working papers. How we file working papers, or rather, we create two different files. One is called current file, and second is permanent file. Okay, this is important. Current file I'll read, or temporary file, also called as. It is a file which contains working papers of the year under the audit. That is current year. The current file should include following documents: correspondence relating to acceptance and annual appointment of auditors, extracts of important matters in the minute books of board of directors, audit plan of current year, audit program of current year, analysis of transactions. So all the important things which relate to current year's audit will be there in current file. Okay. Now, what is permanent file? Okay. All current file documents, okay, becomes part of permanent file next year. Okay. So whatever important documents were there, which are important throughout the life of the company, are called as permanent documents or part of permanent file. Okay, like information related to legal organization structure uh, of the company. Okay, important documents, agreements, a record of study and evaluation of internal control system, which was done previously. Okay, copies of financial statements of previous years. Okay, so all past data form part of your permanent file. This is important. Auditors lean on working papers. Well, auditor is the legal owner of these working papers, and in case he is not paid, he has a right to retain those working papers with himself. Okay, we will not go through this case studies and all. Audit notebook is very important, okay, from short note perspective. So it is a notebook maintained by the auditor for recording various matters which are observed during the course of audit work. Okay, like students carry a notebook in college, they may have only one notebook with them, which records whatever they uh, observe or rather what teacher gives in writing. Okay, it's just like that. Auditor sometimes carries one book in which all the details are written. Any doubts, any queries, any list. Okay, it is recorded in this audit notebook. Contents of audit notebook. What kind of business is this? Okay, what are the important provisions in MA and AA? Okay, structural of financial and administrative organization, list of books of account maintained by the company. Okay, all these are recorded in here. Okay, this was general information. Apart from this, current year's information is also recorded. Okay, go through this importance of audit notebook also. It will help you to write. Audit notebook has an evidence value. Okay, if the company files a case against the auditor that he has not done his work properly, we can provide audit notebook as a evidence in court of law. Okay, this audit notebook is useful in subsequent audits as well. While planning, it will be very useful. Okay, protection value, same way, this was mentioned in point number 1. These documents can be used as a defense against any allegations. Control value, audit note can be used as a control value to supervise his staff. Done. Auditing techniques, these are the techniques by which an auditor obtains evidence about the transactions recorded in the books of account. The first one mentioned here is inspection. It consists of examination of records, documents, tangible assets. Examination of document is one of the most important techniques of audit. Okay. When we do vouching, we in fact inspect those vouchers. Okay. Observation. When we witness a process, a method, it is called as observation. Okay. Inquiry. Okay. It is an amounts to seeking appropriate information. When you inquire means what? You ask for some information from a concerned person, okay, who has the knowledge of the transaction. It's called as inquiry. Then last one is computation, means calculation. Calculation of depreciation, different ratios. Okay. Analytical review, that is comparison, trend analysis, the ratio analysis. It is termed as analytical review. Next is routine checking. This is very important. Routine checking. Okay. Meaning, the term routine checking means the checking of cost, means totals, subtotals, carry forwards, extensions, and other calculations in the books of original entry, that is journal or subsidiary books. Checking of posting into ledgers, checking ledger accounts as regards their totaling and all. So this routine procedure is called as routine checking. Okay. Features. Routine checking is in-depth checking, okay, detailed checking. Okay. Nature, it is traditional system of audit. It is also known as vouch and post. Staff, the work is generally carried by the members or junior staff because it involves process of tick marking the items. Okay. Objects, to verify the arithmetical accuracy of entries. So remember this, that routine checking helps in arithmetical accuracy. Okay. Do advantage as well as disadvantages for this. So this one is important topic. What is routine checking? Its features, advantages and disadvantages. Test checking, another important point. Test checking means selecting a few transactions and checking them, doing audit or other inspecting them from the generation of the transaction till its presentation in financial statements. So we can say that in test check we select a few transactions which represent the entire population of transactions. Like suppose there are thousands of sales transactions, we'll select 10% transaction and we'll check where they originate and how they appear in the financial statement. Okay. Examples of test checking: check 40% of cash vouchers or invoices. Okay, check 40% of postings from purchase to creditors ledger. Likewise, you can test. Even this 40% is sometimes too big. In case the transaction runs in lakhs, then it may not be doing even 40%. It may restrict to 10% to 20%. Features of test checking: it is scientific. Okay. It involves process of estimation. Normally, it should cover all material items. The sample should be selected from the all spheres. Okay, there should be an element of surprise. Flexibility should be there, and judgment should be made depending on the entire test check. Okay. Not important. The important advantage of test check. Okay. As we saw that the main objective is to reduce the time and to reach the judgment, because it is not possible that even after doing 100% work, you may not be able to make a judgment. Okay. So these are the advantages given. Disadvantages. You may be biased while selecting the sample. This may not be very authentic test. Okay. To some extent, there will be some risk that fraud is not detected. Okay. Sometimes, if bias is there, it may not be scientific. Okay. You can do this distinguish test checking and routine checking. Audit sampling not important. Internal control is important. And read. Mm, okay, second paragraph. Uh, the Committee on Auditing Procedures of American Institute of Certified Public Accountants has defined internal control as the plan of the organization and all of the coordinate methods and measures adopted within a business to safeguard its assets, check the accuracy and reliability of its accounting data, promote operational efficiency, and encourage adherence to prescribed managerial policies. So, in short, it's a plan of the organization to safeguard the assets of the organization and to see that the data is reliable. Okay, there is efficiency of the organization, and all policies which management has set up are being followed properly. Okay, so in case of college, we can say a timetable. In case of even a railway, a timetable acts as a internal control system wherein the management makes sure that the work is going on smoothly in the organization. Okay. So good internal control system should have following a plan of organization which provides proper division of responsibility, a proper system of authorization. Okay, it means all the expenses, all the receipts are properly authorized. Sound uh, practices are followed by all the departments. Okay, only competent people are employed. Effective managerial supervision and review is done regularly. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. This is important. What are the different things or factors which auditor should consider while framing a good internal control system or internal tech system? First point, one person is not in a position to have an independent control of a specific aspect of any business. Okay, control is automatic. There is a shuffling of duties among the workers. No, there should be a break given to all the employees. Okay, the salesman or other people should not get access to books of accounts. Then physical verification should be done of stock, of cash, etc. Company should always have budgetary control. Physical stock taking, that is counting of stock, should be done. Review of accounting process should be done. Mechanical devices should be employed instead of relying completely on manual work. Okay, the duty should be clearly defined. Okay, one transaction should pass through at least 2-3 hands so that no one has a complete control over it. Proper recording should be done. The system should be simple. Every person should be sent on an annual leave so that he cannot cover up the things. If the auditor has decided to check selected purchase transaction, he should check selected transactions from beginning till the disclosure. Okay. Very similar to test check. Merits and demerits are there. Okay, this chapter is done. Internal audit. Okay, this is important. What is internal audit? The Institute of Internal Auditors, USA, has defined internal audit as an independent appraisal activity within an organization for the review of operations as a service to the organization. It is managerial control which functions by measuring and evaluating the effectiveness of the other controls. So, there was some interruption due to internet connection problem. Okay. So objectives of internal audit. We verify the authenticity when advanced. Okay, standard practices are being followed or no, that we come to know. Whether for every transaction there was authority or no, confirmation of liabilities is done. Okay, we go through this. And this is important. Provisions relating to appointment of internal auditor. Okay. I'll read Rule 13 of Companies Act 2013 prescribes that following companies shall appoint an internal auditor. Every listed company listed on stock exchange, every unlisted company having. So if it is an unlisted company, these 4 points are there. Okay, if any one is qualified, then they have to appoint internal auditor. Paid up capital is 50 crores or more. Turnover is more than 200 crores. Outstanding loans are above 100 crores. Outstanding deposits, that is public deposits, are 25 crore or more. If any of these is satisfied, then the internal auditor has to be appointed. Third, every company having turnover of 200 crore or more or outstanding loans exceeding 100 crores, they have to appoint an internal auditor. Qualifications are mentioned here. The internal auditor should be a chartered accountant given by the board of directors. Principles of internal audit remain the same, which I explained for the auditor. Same points are there. Do this usefulness of internal audit, why it is important. Okay, importance of internal audit. Okay, so that the inefficiencies are there, they are identified very in advance. It acts like a early warning system. We have control over the environment if we come to know about the things way in advance. Decision making can be affected. Okay, people can be made accountable. Make it process dependent, and likewise, please study this internal audit and external audit. You'll understand it better. It's not important, this one. Okay, now last two chapters. Vouching. So vouching is nothing but checking the vouchers, okay, to authenticate the transactions in the books of account. Okay. When the transaction is to be audited, we check them against the vouchers. Documentary evidence in support of transaction is called as a voucher. Okay. This meaning examination is important. This chart, you better learn it. What is the process of vouching? This is in a nutshell, in a glance, you come to know the entire process of vouching. Importance of vouching is important. Vouching helps make sure that the transactions are genuine. It enables the auditor to know the nature of transaction. It helps auditor to ascertain that transactions are pertaining to accounting period. Okay. It facilitates proper allocation of capital and revenue. Okay. Likewise, special considerations to be borne in mind by the auditor while doing vouching. In a voucher, he should check the date, name of the party, okay, whether rubber stamp is put up or not, whether the transaction was properly authorized. If the transaction is above 5,000, a revenue stamp should be there. In audit of income, there are many items of incomes and expenditures are given. Okay. Now, in class, I had covered items like cash sales, rent received, income from investment, royalty received, recovery of bad debts. Okay. These are important ones. Please go through these. In case of expenditures, we have gone through all, but some important are cash purchases, credit purchases, salaries, telephone expenses, advertisement expenses, and interest expense. These are important. Okay. They cover everything. That's it for vouching chapter. Verification. I read the meaning. Verification of assets includes verifying the asset exists on a given date or no. The asset is legally owned by the company and there are no unrecorded assets and the assets are disclosed properly, classified properly. Okay. So when you verify any asset, you make sure that they exist, they belong to the client, they are in possession of the client, and they are not subjected to any lien, okay, or charge. And they are stated at proper value. They are recorded in the account. Okay. So these points are very important in verification. Valuation of assets and liabilities is more important. Okay. So do this one, valuation. It is very important that we record all the assets or disclose all the assets at proper value. Okay. If I overvalue any asset or undervalue any asset, that will be wrong recording or maybe a manipulation, we can say. So proper valuation is very important. Basis of valuation, there are various bases. Cost price, that is purchase price, replacement value. If I replace the asset today, what will be the cost? What is today's market price? What is book value? That is cost minus depreciation. Realizable value. How much will realize if I sell it today? So these are different bases on which valuation can be done. Importance of valuation. Just a minute. In this chapter, we have covered almost all the assets and liabilities. Okay, like verification of debtors, book dates or account receivable. Plant and machinery and furniture. In case of liabilities, some of the important liabilities which are to be verified are outstanding expenses, payable, creditors, debentures, and public deposits. That's it. Okay. So that's it for today's lecture, students.